How are you?
Good, thank you very much. How are you guys doing?
We're really good. Thanks for being really patient in the yellow room, waiting for us.
That's all right. I was really impressed with Ricky's trick, but his scissor skills and the detail in that Michael Jackson cutout was outstanding.
Outstanding.
We had a couple of comments on that. Ice and Lime Mobile Bar have put brutal cutting at Ricky. So, yes.
Don't get a paper cut, though.
Don't get a paper cut. But no, amazing magic trick. Amazing magic. Rob, thank you so much for joining us today.
As we started with Trevor, we're going to ask you exactly the same starting question. What do you do when you get up in the morning?
It's a mad scramble, to be honest, at the moment, getting the kids ready for school. And it all depends on what I'm doing as well, because some of what I do for the YouTube is traveling away and testing bikes and filming. So it's totally different when I'm doing that to when I'm at home. But at the moment, it's kids are going back to school, getting them out for 9 o'clock and getting them ready on time. There's that kind of side. And then I come in here, which is my office, which is like a mile away from the house. And if I've got a video that's due out, it's sitting here and basically editing and trying to get that done to meet an embargo date or a deadline. So there's no real, like many people, standard morning for me. It all depends on whereabouts I am and the kind of job that I've got to do for the day. So it's very variable.
Fluid. It's fluid.
And hectic.
we do feel your pain. I think that we've got 3 in the house as well. And just that morning, like, okay, if we get Paw Patrol on for a little bit, what can we do now? And
I have to, we do laugh. If I'm like making breakfast or something like that and all 3 kids come out into the kitchen, I'm like, has the TV stopped, kids? Yes, that's right. Let's put something else back on and make it
just a little bit. Now, Rob, before we get into EMTB, you also come from a retail background, don't you?
Slightly. Yeah.
All the ins and outs of your retail background, but from what Trevor and Ricky were saying, did that ring true as well in terms of the larger corporations and that ability to have that flex and get things done on a quicker basis?
Yeah, massively. I mean, we worked for the same company for a long time, Alan, and I worked in retail stores and then went to the head office and worked in the kind of operations team. And to get a very small thing implemented and landed was just a colossal, there's a whole team of people to try and to do this and try and land it within the store. And when you're in the stores, you kind of think, why does it take so long for that to move to that place there? But then when you go in and you work within the operations team, you realize that there's so many different people involved, and that's why it takes so long. But I guess sorry, go on. No, I was going to say, doing the job that I'm doing, I'm pretty much a one-man band. So it's like the polar opposite of working in that kind of environment. And you can make a decision, much like you guys, you were talking about doing something like this a few weeks ago, and then here we are live. Yeah. So you can make a decision and implement it the same day. It's.
What about pressures from being solo though? Because everything has a kind of flip side, doesn't it? So then sometimes I as much as I love the anonymity. Why didn't I pick a different word? As much as I love being able to make those quick decisions, sometimes that pressure also builds up, and even we fall foul of, is this right? Is this the right thing? Is that what we want to do? And generally we come down to, let's just do it.
So moving away from retail, because I'm conscious of our time.
Fair enough.
EMTB, where did that come from? How did that start? And explain to us really what it is today, what it looks like now.
Yeah, so electric mountain bikes, or EMTB, came about because I've always been into cycling and mountain biking. And a few years ago, I wanted my wife, Andrea, to join me a little bit more on some of my rides. So we actually bought her an electric mountain bike back in, it's like the end of 2017. And I got on it and I thought, wow, this is amazing. This is really, really cool. It's just like riding a bike, but you ride faster. So you put the same amount of effort in, but you travel further and you travel faster. And I think you have more fun. And I was kind of looking online for people that were in a similar kind of situation. I discovered these electric mountain bikes and thought they were really cool. And I couldn't find anything online. So I started back in 2018 a community, EMTB forums, which was really to try and find like-minded people that could come together and kind of geek out on these things and try and understand them a little bit more. And a few years ago, there wasn't that many really, especially in the UK. The European market was quite well established, but there wasn't many UK or English speaking communities. So I started it, in January 2018. And at the same time, I created the YouTube channel as well. And my thought in my head at the time was I can use YouTube to help promote the site and vice versa. So yeah, two and a half years, and it's grown pretty considerably over that time. And mountain biking or electric mountain biking just really took off over the past couple of years. And then, in lockdown, all people could really do was stay at home or get out and exercise. And a great form of exercise is cycling. And there was a massive uptick in sales. So it just kind of exploded again within the last 6 to 8 months. So
brilliant.
In fact, we've got a brand new electric bike shop just down the road from us now. It opened about a month ago, don't we? And it's something I didn't even know about. I didn't even know was a thing up until the point where we saw your stuff and we're like, oh, that is a thing. And now you've introduced me to it. All I ever see now is electric mountain bike stuff. It's everywhere. I can't believe how quickly it's gone from being something very small in the UK to now being quite a phenomenon, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
What? Sorry.
You keep going.
Alan, I paused. I thought you were going to ask something.
No, I was, but then Emily jumped in. But that's fine. I'm driving. I
was quite keen to ask you with both the forums and your YouTube channel together is the fact that you have grown this incredibly rapidly. I mean, the fact that you've got 10.4 million views on your videos alone on, I think it's 190 videos you've got on your channel. Not that we're geeking out on all your stats, but we have. It's the fact you've grown that incredibly rapidly. And one of the things I was going to ask you about is, yes, the quality of your videos are incredible. They're amazing. And I love watching them. And they are just completely like watch-worthy, binge-worthy kind of content. But it's the community you've brought around you that has really elevated you as a business now, isn't it, really? So what do you think, what is it that you do with your community that really kind of makes it stick? What's the gel for what you do you think?
I think everyone shares a common interest in the bikes, and they're spending a lot of money on these bikes. They're between 3,000, some of them are £10,000, and it's like their pride and joy. It's like having a really, a classic car or something. It's what people do in their spare time, and they like to share that and talk about it. So I guess I created a platform for people to be able to do that and come together. And I wanted to create the user experience really easy. So really easy to register. For example, you can register using Facebook or Google or Instagram, and just have a nice clean kind of interface and a place that people would feel comfortable to kind of be and hang around. And then I think one of the big things that I did was started to share a weekly bulletin with all of the top topics every week. So the topics that people had posted that had got the most amount of replies or views, and sharing that out weekly to say to people, look, these are the things that people are talking about. Why don't you come back and kind of get involved? And that seemed to work quite well. And then I got some bike brands to come along as well. So there's a bike brand, Specialized. They're one of the biggest bike brands in the world, and they're active on the forums. So if somebody has an issue with their bike and they post it, because let's be honest, when people have issues with things, they'll go online and post about it. And Specialized are actually now active on the site, and they will try and repair that relationship with the customer. So a customer may have an issue with their battery or their controller, and post it out and maybe have a bit of a rant, like we all do on social media. And Specialized will say, okay, cool, let's take ownership of that problem, and they'll message that customer directly and try and resolve it behind the scenes. So I think people like that they can go there for help and support. And there's other users on there that kind of give tips and advice on how to get good deals on bikes, how to maintain them, how to clean them, how to places to go and ride. So it's that kind of community aspect that I think people really enjoy and really like, and kind of keeps them coming back.
Right.
Makes it a go-to place, doesn't it?
That is something I'm really going to explore next, actually, in terms of the kind of content that you've created for your community and how that can be extrapolated and put across other brands and other types of industry. And there is a comment, actually.
Really,
I think it's a
question.
really good question that we're going to ask.
Kirsty says, I'm curious if anyone has tried to replicate your community or anyone has seen your success and then tried to compete,
I think there's a few electric mountain bike specific creators out there, but not many, to be honest with you. There's myself, there's a great guy called Sam who lives in Madrid. He's an Aussie and living in Madrid, and he's creating his own content. But there's not really that many. I think it does take quite a lot of time to do, and with anything you're building it from scratch. If people have, I don't know, a full-time job, it's difficult to balance it all, and you have to invest a lot of time in it. I was lucky in that I created a motorbike forum, or a couple, about 8 or 9 years ago, so I knew how to do it, and I kind of took all the good stuff that I did with that one when I created the EMTB, so it wasn't quite as time consuming as it might have been if I was starting out brand new. But I think YouTube is a great opportunity for anyone to go out and, you can, I think my first ever video, I didn't have a GoPro and I strapped my iPhone to my chest and recorded it, and you can create a video that way. It's so
Did you have a case on it though, is the question?
Probably, yeah. I mean, it was a ridiculous thing to do because I think it was a brand new iPhone at the time, and strapping it to your chest and recording on a mountain bike's not the best idea.
Cool.
But it's a great question, and the internet is so open that it's so cheap for somebody to go out and film something and publish it on YouTube and create a community. There's the price to entry is really low.
Yeah, and Kirsty, I think something we've mentioned, especially within the digital circus, is that yes, you can get competitors, and yes, people will try and replicate, but no one can replicate you because you are your product. And this is something we discussed on Trevor's podcast.
There's only one you, isn't there?
There's only one you. So yes, people can try and do similar things, but it's the fact that they're buying into you and your brand and everything you've created. So you're going to have people who have offshoots, but still you'll have your core following who will know to come to you at any opportunity.
Yeah, like you couldn't sell the channel, for example, because the product is the person that's in the channel and the community that goes with it. So it's not like a product that you've invented that you can then sell and someone's going to grow
100%.
further.
No.
Right, let's bring in Trevor and Ricky.